So hopefully you've had a chance to look at the first half of Lesson 19. If not, this is a review from Algebra 1 and also looking at some skills that's used in geometry. But we'll take a look at reviewing quickly the FOIL methods. So multiplying binomials is what we're taking a look at. This is preparing us for Lesson 23 coming up here shortly, which we are going to look at factoring. So how we can factor polynomials. And how we factor them is determined by how they FOIL out. So we're going to look at this FOILing method here today. So we'll review the steps of FOIL, take a look at how the O and the I terms are going to combine together, and then how we can write out our resulting polynomial. So FOIL is an acronym. So an acronym is a way that we can take the first letter of each step and then kind of use it to remember those steps throughout a process. So F, the F is going to stand for your first terms. So we can fill that in there, F-I-R-S-T. So your first terms are x and x. When you multiply x and x together, it's using those power rules that we've been talking about. Their product is going to be x squared. So a common mistake might be to put 2x. If you're going to add x plus x, that would be 2x, but we're going to put x squared for our first term. So our first terms are resulting in getting an x times x, which is x squared. The O is standing for your outside terms. Your very first term and your very last term, x and -5, their product is going to give us -5x. There's nothing we can do with x and -5 to make it one single number, so we just leave it as a product, -5x. I is going to stand for inside, and your inside terms are 3 and x. When you multiply those together, they're going to give you positive 3x. So up above there, when we have our inside terms, we're talking about the 3 on the inside, and then the x's on the inside of the other binomial. That's going to give us 3x. And then our L is going to stand for our last term. Our last terms are 3 and -5. Since these are both numbers, they will multiply out to a number, which is -15. So our lasts are going to be the last number in each of those binomials. So there would have our FOIL method all resulted out. And then once you put all your terms together, what you're going to notice every time that we FOIL out these two basic binomials is you will have like terms with your outsides and insides, so -5x plus 3x is going to give us a -2x. And so then there's going to be our final result. Most of the time we're going to get a trinomial for our answer. Today you'll see we'll get a couple special cases to where our O and I terms can cancel out, which is possible, but then we'll write our answer as simplified as possible. The FOIL method, has that kind of cleared some memories out in your head about algebra in the past? FOIL, we are all kind of familiar with this process. Alrighty, so we are using this FOIL method again today to look at a couple special cases with these binomials that can happen. I need to erase that. Is that okay if I erase it? You guys all got it? All right. Heading on to example 4. So the first video was looking at examples 1, 2, and 3. And we just basically did examples very similar to examples 1, 2, and 3 when we just did those problems right there. Okay. So looking at some special product patterns. So first is called a sum and a difference. So when you FOIL out certain special cases, there can be some patterns that we see. But I'm also going to show you that you can just still use FOIL. So FOIL is going to be what we're going to use for all of these. But in any case, you could FOIL this out. F would be a squared. Your outsides would be minus ab. Your inside, since a is positive and b is positive. That'll be plus ab, and then your lasts are going to be b times negative b, which is minus b squared. So here's a special case that happens. If you look how we multiply this out, and I know it's all variables, that's fine. If there were some numbers there, we'd still have the same thing happening. But when we start to multiply using FOIL, the outsides give us negative AB, the insides give us positive AB, which they are this exact same number, but one's negative, one's positive. So what's going to happen if you have a negative number and a positive number that are exactly the same? What's going to happen when you add those together? What are you going to get when you add a positive and a negative that are the exact same number? If I did negative 2 plus positive 2, what's that now? I have $5 and I lose $5. Where am I at? Nobody knows? You guys can talk. It's okay. If I have $5 and I lose $5, where am I at?
0.
Zip. 0. Zilch. There it is. So here you got a plus AB and a minus AB. You have the exact same two numbers. They're going to cancel out to be 0. Our result ends up being a squared minus b squared. So your O term and your I term are going to cancel out. We're going to talk a lot about this as we continue through throughout Algebra 2. Those two binomials are called conjugates. And conjugates multiply out to this special pattern called a difference of squares. So this difference of squares will be something we look at again in lesson 23 here coming up as a method of factoring. A square of a sum. So when you have that a plus b squared, a common mistake that is made is taking that 2 and then just handing it out to both of those. That's not what this is saying. This is saying take that a plus b and square it. So that is telling us to take a plus b times a plus b. Then from there, if we have two binomials, we're going to FOIL that out. So that's what we'll do next. We'll FOIL that. And same with the next problem. We have an a minus b squared. We'll take a minus b times another a minus b, and we'll FOIL that. So again, a common mistake is just to take the squared and make it a squared plus b squared. Well, the base, a plus b, is in parentheses. Okay, there's nothing I can do inside those parentheses. So the next step I would do is I would square it, which means take that a plus b, multiply it by itself. So there we have our square of a sum and a square of a difference. And from there, we're just going to look at FOILing. So down below, we'll practice a couple of those, looking at using our FOIL method again. So like I said, if you did not see yesterday's, or Friday's, excuse me, we are going to be practicing the same skills right here. So I'm going to get that first one set up. We got 3y minus 4 squared, which means we're going to take 3y minus 4 times 3y minus 4. So we are going to rewrite that difference squared as those two binomials. From here, then, we can look to FOIL. And we do have numbers and variables, so we can multiply the numbers with the numbers, and we can multiply the variables with the variables. So 3y times 3y, well, the 3 and the 3 make 9. Y make y squared, so we get 9y squared. Our outsides will go 3 times negative 4, which makes negative 12. And then the y doesn't have anything to multiply with, so it just come along. Insides, we got a negative 4 times 3, which makes negative 12 again, and the y is coming along. So there's my inside terms. And lastly, I'd have a negative 4 times negative 4, which is going to give me positive 16. Then I got 9y squared minus 12y minus 12y plus 16. I look, the O and the I are always going to be able to combine. So if you have a negative 12 and then another negative 12 that's going to bring you further in the negatives, that will give us negative 24. So I'll rewrite this below. So we got 9y squared minus 24y plus 16. There would be our new trinomial. So I can only combine the negative 12 to make that negative 24. And I'm kind of running out of room, so I'm going to erase that, and then we'll get to the next problem. So we got our two binomials set up. We'll look at multiplying using FOIL. So we'll go 6 times 6 is 36. X times x is x squared, so we're going to have a 36x squared. Get to our outsides. We'll go 6x times negative 4. So 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. And then our x and y, they don't multiply to make a x squared or anything, so they just come along as xy. Insides, we have a plus 4y times 6x. That's going to be a positive 24xy. And our last 4 times negative 4 is negative 16, and then a y squared. Right in the middle, again, we're going to have our O and our I are going to be able to combine. So we have a negative 24, positive 24. You kind of think back to what we talked about above there. You have a negative 24 plus 24. What are you going to end up with a result of? Negative 24 plus 24. What's going to happen with those? Negative 24 plus 24 is? Zip. 0. Good. 0, 0. So cancel those out. And final result then is 36x squared minus 16y squared. So there would be our simplified polynomial. And lastly, we'd have a 5q plus 3r. So 5q plus 3r times another 5q plus 3r. So I'm not going to FOIL that one out because we're going to be able to do that one. We're going to do another FOIL in example 5. But when you have your 5q plus 3r squared, that's going to mean that you're going to multiply your base 5q plus 3r 2 times. You'll multiply that. Well, we're going to take a look then at example 5, that last example, and then I want to give you a little work time to ask any questions from previous lessons. Am I okay if I erase that one? Got it all? Thank you. All right, heading down to problem 5. It says a triangular garden has a base given by the expression x plus 3 and a height given by the expression 2x plus 8. Write a polynomial expression for the area. So triangular garden means that our garden is going to look like a triangle. And the base of that garden is x plus 3. And the height of that garden is 2x plus 8. So there's going to be our two measurements. Sorry about my 3 here. There we go. X plus 3 and then 2x plus 8. And we want to find the area. So we got to talk about the area formula of a triangle. So rectangle is going to be base times height. So whenever you're finding the area of a rectangle, you can take its width times its length, base times height. A triangle is always going to be half of whatever a rectangle is. So our formula for a triangle's area is going to be 1/2 base times height. So I'm going to take my area measurements, or my dimensions there. I'm going to put it in for b and h. So 1/2 times x plus 3 times 2x plus 8. So my base was x plus 3, and my height is this 2x plus 8 right here. So now I'm going to put those in my formula. And we're multiplying two binomials, so right here I'm going to have to use that FOIL method. So we're going to start to FOIL that out. So as far as the 1/2 is just going to kind of sit back and wait So 1/2 is going to multiply this once we get that set up there. So we're going to have x times 2x, which is 2x squared. Outside's x times 8, which is plus 8x. My inside's 3 times 2x, which is plus 6x. And my last 3 times 8, which is plus 24. So there's the result of FOILing my problem. And again, you look at your O's and I's, those combine to make 14. So we're going to have area equals 1/2 times 2x squared plus 14x plus 24. So my 8x and 6x will make that 14x. Now we've still got that 1/2. Now 1/2 is going to half each of these terms. The distributive property would be happening here. I go half of 2, half of 14, and then half of 24. So I still have this 1/2 that I need to do to my new polynomial I just made. So my final area then is going to be x squared. Half of 14 is 7x. Half of 24 is 12. So there would be my last result. X squared plus 7x plus 12 after I get half of each of those terms happening. So that'll finish up our lesson 19. So lesson 19 is really heavy. I'm looking at all of our FOIL, practicing those skills. So that is what we were looking at in the first half, and then the second half is more of those types of skills. So we're going to use this a lot when we get to lesson 23 coming up here in a couple of weeks when we start looking at the questions. So the rest of the time then is yours. Tomorrow we do lesson 20, day 1. There is no Delta math assignment, so you'll see a attachment worksheet. We can do it like last time where you send me a Schoology message when you get that completed. I put a worksheet on each day, but it is the same worksheet. So there's only just one worksheet with a few problems practicing our lesson 20. So I'll see you again on Wednesday to remind you of that. We'll take a look at it if you need some help with that. But you'll be able to make your own copy, and then you can complete it digitally if you want to. But the rest of the time is yours. I'll come around and check in. If you need help with anything on Delta Math, let me know. But the rest of the time is yours to work.